Welcome to the Sentimental Twist,
where two generations share one love for meaningful spaces and gracious hospitality.
I'm Brittany.
And I'm Melissa.
Let's gather around and talk home, hosting, and all things sentimental.
Yay!
Welcome back, y'all.
Yay! Welcome to episode 6. Are we going to just do 4 more and then we'll be done for this season?
I think so. I think because Christmas, everybody gets busy and we're busy, and it might just be, we'll finish out in December, but
it's mid-December, but we've still got lots to share. Okay, so I'm Melissa. You can find me at homewithatwist.com on my website, Home with a Twist on Instagram, and Home with a Twist on YouTube.
And I'm Brittany. I'm at Brittany Shepherd on Instagram, Brittany Shepherd TSD on YouTube, and thesentimentaldecorator.com.
And you can also find us on the Grams, the Sentimental Twist podcast on Instagram.
Yes.
And if during the show we say anything that just really resonates with you, you have an idea, a comment, a memory, just a reflection, send it to us at thesentimentaltwist@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we going to talk about today, Brittany?
Okay. Gracious hospitality, how to gracefully say no, because it is a very busy season, and sometimes you have to decline invitations for your own sanity and because you're just overbooked, because it just happens. So let's talk about that one. So what do you think, Melissa? Tell us what's going on.
Well, we're entering the season where we're going to have so many invitations come in. And I don't know if you're the same way. I know that you and I both, the only thing that you and I ever want to do is putter around our homes.
It's true.
Although I think that you do more things than I do in the evenings, because I think you're, because of work, you still work and stuff like that. But I have a tendency to accept invitations when I'm really like, let's say you were going to send me an invitation to a tree decorating party. And it's 2 weeks from now. When you ask me, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm rested. I would love to. And then your party date comes and I'm like, I've done so much lately. I'm so tired. I really don't want to go. But I've already said I would go. So I think that what we want to do today is share some ideas and suggestions on how you can pick and choose the events and invitations that suit you.
Yeah.
Because we're all in different seasons of our lives. I think I tended to do that more when I was working and I was excited about something. And then after I put a full day of work in, I'd get home and I'd be like, oh, I've already taken my bra off.
Relatable.
Now I've got to get, redo my makeup and get dressed in a different outfit. And I didn't wrap that present in time. So anyway, I think the way you do that is by assessing, kind of like, where am I at this point in my life? And it's okay to say no. So we're going to talk about a little bit about that when your seasons of life change, it could be a loss of a family member or a relationship, or maybe your physical or emotional health isn't optimal for festive celebrations. And whatever it is, we want to offer some guidance. So the first thing we want to offer is to reframe the no as a form of self-care and not rejection. You have to give yourself boundaries. And I don't know where in time we learned as women that to say no is not a complete sentence. We feel like we have to justify. So I think you have to really, it's okay to not respond right away when you get an invitation. Yeah. Take it and go, oh my gosh, that is really wonderful. Let me look at my calendar. These are just things you're saying in your head. Let me reframe this. That sounds like a fun idea. Let me see when it's planned. Are there things before or after it, in terms of like if the party's on a Wednesday, but you've already got things on Tuesday and Thursday, are you really gonna be up for doing that? So a delayed yes is still a yes. Sometimes the answer isn't no forever, not this week, but how about January? So you could say, I thank you so much for including me in your cute event. I wish I could be there, but let's schedule some time in, January that you and I can get together. And maybe it's just the two of you. And sometimes I think in life, if you are at a place where you just can't do people, or a lot of people,
Mhm.
I think that's okay. I think you
Yeah.
can honestly, if it's somebody that you really have a good relationship with, I think you can say, "You know what? I'm kind of in a real sensitive time in my life right now." And maybe you don't wanna share what that is, but you could say, "I'm just really in a sensitive time right now where being around other people, I need to be careful about how much of my energy I put out. So could we maybe spend some time just you and me?"
Mhm.
And I honestly think that if you said it that way to that person, they'd be like, "I would absolutely love to spend time, just the 2 of us."
Yeah,
And so this is kind of contradictory to what I just said. You don't have to give an explanation.
that's true.
You can just say, explanations are optional. Um, you don't need to do any of that. A polite decline is gratitude enough.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Unfortunately, I can't be there.
Yeah.
So here's some examples. If you're new to this having to say no business, because I am a recovering people pleaser, where I had to feel like I had in order to feel like that person would like me. Of course, this was years ago. I would say yes to everything and then I would regret it and I'd have this stewing about myself. I'm honored you thought of me, but I won't be able to make it this time.
Mhm.
Simple. And you could do that via text.
Yeah.
I'm keeping the season light. Thank you for your understanding. I'm protecting my margin this month, but I'd love to catch up in the new year. Some of those may be totally foreign for you in terms of what you would say, but you could kind of, if you're Brittany and I both love Chat GPT. And I had Chat GPT help me write a bad review at a coffee shop that I went to recently. And they said it in a very diplomatic way. So I didn't look like a Karen, but I got my point across. So if you're struggling with how to say no, use ChatGPT. So a simple strategy is to choose 3 must attend events for the season and everything else is optional, not mandatory. So
Mhm.
if you know there's always that person that has the Christmas Eve open house and you like that, that's your one. And then you get to pick 2 other events and after that, just, again, invite them to your house as a pop by. "Hey, I've got a little gift for you. I can't make it to your party, but is there some time, maybe once Christmas is over, you could pop by and see my tree? I wanna give you my gift, and we could have some cocoa or,
Mhm.
a glass of bubbly together." So what about you, Brittany? How do you handle invitations?
Yeah, a lot of times I kind of know in advance sort of what the year might hold, what the season might hold, typical traditional things that happen. And I am a quarterly planner. So I use a planner that's done by quarters in my everyday life. And so I kind of assess at the beginning of October what the holiday season is going to look like and all of my other commitments that I have with work. And I think I've mentioned that this is the busy season with my family because of all of our birthdays and, of course, holidays and things. And so I already know I'm going to be pretty booked. And so I make some decisions right off the bat of things I know that might be coming up that I might not be able to attend or I may not want to attend because it's a busy week and it's just another night that I'm out of the house. I found a way that I like to say no is I'm sorry, I already have a commitment at that time, but let's do this. Like you said, like try to get together with that person or see that group of people in a different occasion. And that other commitment might just be rest because that's okay, you know?
Oh my gosh, I
Um,
love how you reframed that. That your
mhm,
commitment is your rest time,
mhm.
and you don't need to quantify that.
Yeah.
Okay, that just totally changed my life. If
Yeah.
you're watching this on YouTube, my face, which usually my face is I don't look very nice, we've talked about that. Well, I've said I look mean, and it's because 'cause I'm really listening to what you're saying, but can you re-say that? Because that is so powerful.
Yeah, I mean, like an example for me recently is hosting a table at a fundraiser event that I would typically say yes to. but that week is already a very busy week in my calendar. And so when they asked if I would host the table, I said, "I'm so sorry, I cannot that this year because I already have a commitment at that time." And that commitment was to my rest because it's the only night that week that I don't have something that I have to do for work or for family or a commitment that's important to me. And so rest might be the commitment. Like being home might be the commitment if you have been busy and you're on the road and at events all week. And that one night is your one night to rest. Now, I will say, and sometimes when it is that one night and it's a friend just wanting to get together, I will say, just come by the house and let's just be low key and we'll rest together instead of going out to, and we might just DoorDash food. It might be something simple, but I've learned that if I say, I'm sorry, I can't, I have a commitment at that time, that it's okay if the commitment is rest or just being home because I need to be home. Um, and
You know
that's
what?
one thing my mom taught me is that it's okay to say no because she was a people pleaser and it took her a long time to get to the point where she felt comfortable saying no. So even in my teenage years, she was already coaching me like, you do not have to do everything that's presented to you. So,
What a valuable gift that your mom gave to you
mhm.
to coach you that it's okay to say no.
Yeah. That happened after she was asked to host a very big bridal shower for a local person in our community. And then she had anxiety attacks related to that bridal shower. And she was like, I'm not doing this again to myself. Because she literally thought she was having a heart attack. But it was anxiety because of all of the commitments that she put on her own plate in a way. So, yeah.
I love that. I mean, that we could just close the show now. Okay,
The end.
it was really nice gathering you with y'all this week because whatever Brittany just said was just
Yeah.
I loved it.
And sometimes saying no, like, it's not selfish sometimes to say no, it's kindness because it protects, your sanity for the people in your life as well. It helps you, keep from having a chaotic week or season so that you can kind of savor those seasons. And sometimes those extra things, while they're important, they aren't what matters most. And so you have to kind of discern, the things that are your priority. And for me, that's my nephews and niece and my home and being home and my own well being and self care. And then those closest to me and my family and friends. And so those extra things that I know will be fun, I may have to say no to. But I've also kind of trying to assess those things, and even if they're acquaintances or friends that are not as close as my dearest friends, if it's very important for them and it's a milestone occasion or a celebratory thing for something in their lives, I will sacrifice that rest because I know that it would mean a lot for me to be there for them. So you just kind of have to learn yourself, get to know yourself, and set those boundaries. But protect your time, protect your energy, protect the relationships that are the biggest priority for you, but still be giving and kind and loving to others. And sometimes not being there is a kindness because you're frazzled and it wouldn't, it would detract from the event or occasion. So yeah, you can say that you have a commitment and that commitment can be you.
I
So
love that. I love that. And what I want to kind of interject there and speak to we do have some listeners that feel like rest is being lazy. I have friends that are like,
mhm,
"Oh, I cannot take any time to rest because to me that just is like such a form of slacking." And I'm like,
yeah,
"Well, for our faithful friends, our uh, Christ follower friends, the longest commandment is rest."
mhm,
And so, I think you have to kind of learn as you mature
yeah,
that um, that old messaging that maybe we got from our parents or how our parents lived their lives, if they felt like rest was lazy and you've carried that into your adulthood now, you might want to re-examine that and
mhm,
realize that rest is really a form of self-preservation.
mhm.
I know
And
when I was caring for my parents and they were living with me, I would come home straight from my bill paying job
mhm,
to my second job as being
yeah,
my third job because my first job was being a mom. My third job was taking care of my parents and being their caregiver. Was I would lay down for about an hour. Some days I would sleep, some days I would just not have any technology on, and I just would lay there
Mhm.
and kind of just plug my battery back into the power source and
Yeah.
be ready to do the next thing. So, anyway, I know you have more to share.
Well, just what we were saying talking about, it's kind of a cliche saying now, but you can't pour from an empty cup. And so it is important that you keep your cup full and find the things that keep your cup full. And that might be rest, it might be physical activity, it might be people if you're an extrovert. But you kind of have to learn yourself so that you can keep your cup full and be able to give to others. And you have I want to say, like, for me, when somebody cancels on me, sometimes I'm relieved.
Yes.
And so here's a permission slip that if you need to cancel something like that, it's often not letting somebody down because they probably feel the same way you do. Like, they love you and they want to see you and they want to get together, but they wouldn't mind a night off as well.
Yeah,
So,
they go, "Oh, thank God."
and it's not because they don't wanna see you or spend time with you, and,
Absolutely.
one thing that I saw recently, and I would love to start doing this with my long distance friends a little more, or even local friends that I don't get to see as often. It's this group of guys, and they send each other video notes every Wednesday, like, to just check in, and, like, it's just them
Oh,
recording a video to tell. They used to, I think during COVID, they started it, and they tried to do a Zoom meeting every week, and then that got too busy, and then they just kept evolving, and now they just send a little video or voice note to each other in their group text to check in every week. And I just think that's so simple, just a way to stay connected and hear each other's voice, because I think that's super important, especially when you don't see somebody or talk to them regularly, because talking on the phone is such a lost art. And I don't really love talking on the phone myself, but you can kind of find ways to stay connected to people. And especially during this busy
oh,
season when you're not going to be able to do everything you're invited to do, just finding ways to check in that makes them feel connected, even if you can't attend their event or activity.
absolutely.
So, and I love the idea of delaying the time, the one-on-one time, like you said, if it was an event where a lot of people and you didn't really feel like being around a lot of people, or the event didn't work for your schedule, just saying, "Hey, can we get together one-on-one? I can't be there for your event, but I'd love to grab coffee in the new year," or "Let's do a FaceTime call, so you can tell me all about it, how it went." So delaying it if you have to, but connecting in a different way. So,
Yeah, I love that.
but honor your capacity,
Right. I love
you know.
that.
Mhm.
Okay, so if any of the listeners out there have suggestions or things that worked for them, we would love to hear about that. Send us an email at the sentimental twist podcast at gmail.com.
Mhm.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to Brittany's favorite part of the show, the speed round, where we fire off quick answers and let you peek behind the screen door to see who we really are.
Mhm. It's very fun. I love
So
it
I
because
always ask,
I get to know you in it as well.
yeah,
So,
absolutely. So I always ask Brittany the questions first, and then she follows up and asks me.
yeah.
So, do you dress up or stay comfy on Thanksgiving?
It depends on what I'm doing, and lately it has been more low key. Even with my family, we've been low key. Just a few friends, we've been low key. But I will dress cute because my dad and his wife, they're hosting us the Sunday after Thanksgiving. So I'll dress up for that, and we're all bringing food, and that's our Thanksgiving. But, like, probably Thanksgiving Day, even if I'm at my brother and sister-in-law's house, it'll be pretty low key. So
Yeah.
I don't know yet
Okay.
what I'm doing, so we'll see.
And when you say low key, that could be like leggings and a cute sweatshirt
Yes.
or okay.
Mhm.
Do you get
Perhaps
out
no
of
makeup.
do you get out of house shoes?
No.
Okay. I love puttering around the house in house shoes.
Me too.
Macy's parade or football?
Both. Parade in the morning, football later, but college football. I'm not a pro football gal. I'm a college football gal. My team plays Black Friday this year, the Georgia Bulldogs. Our Thanksgiving game is always with Georgia Tech. So it's like our in-state rivalry. And this year it might actually be a rivalry because Georgia Tech's playing really well this season. So that sounds terrible because we've kind of dominated the series the last decade. But we'll
Okay.
see. Georgia Tech's pretty good.
So you'll watch it on TV.
Yeah.
And of
Yeah.
course you'll have game food and who comes for that if it's on a
Well,
Friday?
I don't know this year that if my brother and sister-in-law and family are in town, we might watch it together if I stay the night at their house. I will say, because that will be crunch time for the Christmas tour of homes, that I might be hurrying home and just watching it while I'm finishing all the last minute details for Christmas decor. So I don't really know yet what my Thanksgiving weekend will look like. So
Okay. Do you try new recipes or stick with tradition on Thanksgiving?
Typically, it's gonna be traditional if I'm having a traditional Thanksgiving with family and friends or whatever. But if it's a low key one where it's just a couple of friends, we might switch it up. I think one year when it was just Anna and I and a few others, we did all appetizer foods and we tried new appetizer things that we hadn't tried before so that we'd have some in our arsenal for Christmas hosting and events that we have to bring things to. So,
And so were any of those flops?
no.
We're all good. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've never made a new recipe at a get together and you're like, "Ooh, this really wasn't good. I don't know that we can serve it."
I can't recall a specific one. I know that's happened before,
Yeah.
but thankfully, a lot of my people that I serve have a lot of grace, and they're
They'd say something like, "Well, Brittany, it's so
maybe
pretty. It's so pretty on the
they'll say,
plate."
"It wasn't my favorite." Now, I have one friend who will be very honest.
And say, "Brittany, it really smells bad. I don't think you
It's
should
terrible.
serve that." What time do you gather on Thanksgiving Day?
Growing up, we would do, like, a late lunch, like a 1:30, 2 o'clock, and so today, even still, we do sort of a late lunch, early lupper, if you will. Um, so it would be,
That's
like,
cute.
mid-afternoon. Yeah.
So you say "lupper." See, Doug and I say "linner."
Dinner.
Linner.
Well, dinner is Sunday lunch.
Okay.
Supper is our evening meal. That's a Southern
During the
Georgia
week.
thing. Mhm.
During the week. Okay, gotcha.
Dinner is gonna be a big meal. Usually Sunday dinner, which is after church, or Thanksgiving dinner, which is late lunch, early supper
But now
for
you
us.
do Sunday suppers with your friends.
Yes,
So
the
how is
supper is evening.
Oh, dinner's at lunch.
Yeah. Isn't that
Oh my
funny?
word. This is so I mean, this needs a Venn di like a big flow chart.
Yeah.
So dinner is Sunday lunch,
Mhm.
supper is always intended for the evening, and the
Yes.
only time you say dinner is on Sunday at lunch.
Yeah, I mean, dinner and supper are sort of interchangeable in everyday
Yeah.
life, but when the traditional Sunday dinner is gonna be Sunday lunch
I
in the
think I
South.
always just say dinner. Come for dinner.
Yeah,
To me,
and I'll
that's
say that too. I mean, I wouldn't say anything is a hard and fast
sure.
description. So,
Yeah. And is that a Georgia thing?
I think it's a South Georgia thing, like, very regional to my
Okay.
area that I grew up in.
Yeah, like
So,
the previous episode when we talked about pecan.
yes.
Okay. All right.
Alright, your turn
Okay.
for the questions. Do you dress up or stay comfy on Thanksgiving?
Kind of an in between. So I'm
Mm.
comfy, but it's jeans, but I
Mhm.
might wear like a cute top or something.
Mhm.
But generally, I'll either have house shoes on or tennis shoes. Usually, if the weather is usually pretty nice out,
Mhm.
pleasant, so we'll sit outside on the patio
Mm,
with our fire and the fireplace
that's nice.
going, and
Mhm.
that's mainly because I know the children, my twin nephews are 6 and their sister is 10, and they, don't like to necessarily sit for a long period of time at the table, so I'll have stuff set up outside for them to play with, and, if they spill or make a mess, it's on the patio.
Yeah.
I think there's been only one Thanksgiving that I can recall, it was a little too maybe it was rainy, and we
Mhm.
had to move it in the house.
Mhm.
But so because of that, I usually wear jeans and,
Yeah.
you know
It's a toss up whether it's going to be cold or warm. I mean, we are recording this on the 9th of November, and today's high is in the 80s. And then tomorrow's high is like maybe in the upper 40s, low 50s. So who knows what we'll have on Thanksgiving?
do you have one of those gas, propane heaters in your for your patio?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, we do too. We have 2 of them, the tower ones.
Mhm. I have
Yeah,
one.
so, it's probably it's a good reminder. I need to get Mr. Twist to check the level of propane and get them,
Mhm.
because in the summer, we pull them around to the side of the house.
Yeah.
And then in the winter, they usually just stay on the back patio, so
Yeah.
okay.
All right. Macy's parade or football?
Totally 100% Macy's parade. I don't care
Mhm.
a lick about football. I don't know, I think the Macy's parade how many years has it been on? We probably need to Google that.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's uh,
100 years?
probably around 100. Let's ask.
Okay. Um, I mean, as long as I can remember, probably in your house too, that's just our moms
Um,
would.
The first parade was in 1924.
Okay.
Mhm.
So it's
100th anniversary
101.
for 2026 because I think there was probably a couple years that they didn't have it for World War II.
And I don't think we had it during COVID.
Oh, did they not?
I don't
I don't
know.
remember. Yeah, I love it though. I marched in the parade in 2000,
You
the
did?
year before 9/11. So I spent the week of Thanksgiving in New York, and all my skyline pictures have the World Trade Center in them, and then the next September is when the 9/11 happened. So it's
How
kind of special.
cool.
Mhm.
How cool. Yeah, so growing up, our mothers probably both had that on while they were cooking in
Mhm.
the kitchen, and,
Yep.
you just would mother would usually have, like, some coffee cake or something, and, we'd nibble on that, maybe some fruit, or daddy would have a bowl of cereal, and we just would watch the parade, and then we would, just putter around the house.
Mhm.
So, that's just what I love to do.
I do too.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you try new recipes or stick with the traditional ones?
Mostly stick with the traditional ones. I might experiment on the pie.
Yeah, okay.
One year was when my brother was still alive. I made a pumpkin pie, and it was okay, but the crust was so thick. I don't know if it was meant to be that way, or if I made it in too small of a pie plate, and I remember my
Mhm.
brother saying it was really good, but God, that crust was so, and I said, "I know, I'm not gonna make it again. Thank you for," he was sweet
Thanks
about it, but,
thanks for pointing it out.
yeah, so, I will experiment on pies, although my sister
Mhm.
told me about Patti LaBelle
Oh, yeah.
has a pumpkin and a sweet potato pie you can get at Walmart. Have you ever
Mhm.
had them? You're shaking your head
I
yes.
have not, but I've heard that they're really good, and also Dolly Parton now has desserts, so
Are they at Walmart?
I am not 100% sure. I've gotten them at Publix and Target, so
Okay,
to
so
be
I
honest.
think that I may try Patti LaBelle pumpkin pie this year.
Mhm.
I
I've
love
heard
to
that it's really
bake.
good.
I love to bake, as you know, but
Mhm.
sometimes, it's kinda like what we just talked about in our earlier top of the
Oh, yeah.
show, is you just gotta learn what your boundaries are, and if Miss Patti LaBelle can make a really good pumpkin pie and save me an hour of my life,
Yep.
then I'm gonna try her pumpkin pie.
Mhm.
So,
Shortcuts are fine
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
A lot of times. Okay, what time do y'all gather on Thanksgiving Day?
Well, my nephew-in-law, my niece's husband, is a big Cowboys fan,
Okay.
so he has to watch the Cowboys game. And it used to be that we based
This is
our
hard.
Thanksgiving lunch on when the twins had to take a nap,
Mm,
which was usually in the afternoon. So we would do Thanksgiving early, like 11, come over at 11, maybe have
mhm.
some nibbles and cider, and then we'd eat around noon so they could get home in time to put the twins to bed. Well,
Yeah.
now they're 6, they don't nap, but I think the Cowboys game is at 3, so maybe like noon. It always
Mhm.
is based on when the game is gonna be on.
Yeah.
And then we always the twins and Amelia will stay with us after their parents go home, and
Yeah.
they'll spend the night, and then because their parents have to go to work the next day.
Yeah.
So I've already got the curriculum planned for Friday when they're with me, and I'm super excited about it.
Yeah.
Do you wanna hear what it's gonna
I
be?
do. I need some ideas.
Do you follow Laura on
I don't.
Instagram? Okay,
Uh-uh.
you need to follow her. She's kinda like, do you remember, our moms liked Hints from Eloise?
Mhm.
Eloise? She's kinda like that with a modern twist. She's always giving really, like, cute, she's been on the Today Show a lot. She has
Okay.
over 1,000,000 followers, so she's pretty well known. She's
Mhm.
always given hacks for, like, drive-through hacks,
Hmm.
um, drugstore beauty brand hacks. Well, her hack now is to make snow globe cookies. So you take the Pillsbury sugar cookie slice and bake,
Okay.
and you cut it, and then you press it so that it stays flat. And then
Mhm.
she puts white icing on the top, sprinkles them with the little pearl sprinkles,
Cute.
and you can find them on Amazon. They're little tiny figurines that are sugar, like Santa and a snowman and a reindeer, and you put those upright in the frosting, And then on Amazon or craft store, you can find the clear ornaments that you can break apart or they come apart, and you put that on the
Mhm.
top and it becomes a snow globe.
Cute. That's
So I
such a
found
cute
really cute aprons at Target that I'm gonna have monogrammed, and we're gonna sit out on the back patio on Thursday and just bake all day. Just make cookies, make brownies, decorate sugar cookies. I mean, whatever they wanna do is what we're gonna do. They're gonna be so filled with sugar when their parents pick
Mhm,
them up,
mhm.
their parents are gonna be really mad at me, but that is gonna be my Christmas present to them because they're not gonna be with me for Christmas this
Aw,
year. They're gonna be in Santa Fe with my sister, which I
okay.
totally is totally good. I mean,
Mhm.
they need to have time with their grandparents because 'cause they're getting older,
Yeah.
but I figured this would be my Christmas present to them, you know?
That
Let's
sounds fun.
Yeah, let's spend time with Aunt Missy and we'll bake. Remember that time when we were little and we made those snow globe cookies with Aunt Missy? So,
Yeah, I love that.
yeah,
So speaking of Christmas, we're moving in to our next segment now,
okay.
and it's the sentimental decorating, the return of handmade decor.
Mm.
So I know we're talking about Thanksgiving and fall, and Thanksgiving in November is still very here, but I know we're all thinking about Christmas. I'm already decorating because of Christmas tour of homes. But we're going to talk about the return of handmade decor and why handmade ornaments feel a little bit like a form of therapy. Um, so I am not a crafter. I am not a DIYer in general for home, for things I like to craft, but Anna always says you're not one to like pay attention to something you have to do with your hands, like detail.
Interesting, interesting.
She's definitely more that way. So like crafting things, I go through spurts and phases of wanting to sew, wanting to paint, wanting to do things. But in general, I'm not much of a crafter. So it's rare that I do a craft project, but I do enjoy them when I make the time and dedicate the energy to it. I like the more puttering type of things, as we talked about. But there are some handmade ornaments that I have on my tree. So we're going to talk about handmade ornaments today. And all of mine really are gifts for the most part, handmade that were given to me that are special to me, none that I really made. So the handmade ornaments on my tree are from others. My mom was an artist. She loved to paint. So I have a few that she painted, little canvases that she did. My friend Betsy also was a painter and she made some ornaments for me. I have a few sewn little ornaments that friends gave me throughout the years. One of my friends from India. I do want to learn how to cross stitch and or needlepoint because I have some unfinished projects of my mom's and I'd like to finish those projects and then I can see myself making some ornaments once I fully know how to do that craft. But I definitely see the value in homemade ornaments and not just for the sentimentality of it, but for how creating with your hands is really kind of therapy in a way.
Yes.
Uh, and so, one of the things that I love about crafting when I do it, it does make you slow down. It makes you slow down and focus, and you can't rush things when you're waiting on glue to dry or when you're doing an embroidery stitch, you have to take your time and pay attention to the little details. So I do think that it's good for helping you slow down. It's also tactile, which we talked about tactile when we talked about Kate and the pictures, like actually holding them. There's so many things we just do so digitally these days. And like I create on Canva and things like that, but there's nothing like a tactile, like paper, ribbons, scissors. I guess one of my favorite ways to craft during the holidays is my gift wrap because I love to make the
Mm,
gift wrap really fun and special. Just
yeah,
I guess that's sort of crafting in a way.
sure.
But it's grounding in this digital age, like when you do something with your hands. And, you know, it stops you from scrolling a little bit because we stay on our phones so much. It gives you the opportunity to do something visual, artistic without a screen. So, what are some of your favorite handmade decorations and ornaments? Melissa, do you have any?
Yes, so when I still have them, um, was when my sister made them when we were still living in the first house that my parents brought me home from the hospital,
Oh, wow.
and that was in 1964.
Hmm.
So I think she made these maybe in the early 70s, God's eyes, and they were made out of Play-Doh, but salt dough, and I'm gonna share
Yeah.
her recipe with everybody.
Okay.
But they were painted orange and hot pink,
Cute.
and they had silver um, twine
Uh-huh.
kind of glued around the edges, and every year I hang those, it's just so my heart just stops for a minute, it's like
Mhm.
my sister made these, and I have a few homemade projects I'm gonna make this year. I love Emily Leck's studio,
Yeah. Uh-huh, we've talked about
and
her
I buy a
watercolor.
lot of her coloring books,
Mhm.
and she has a set of Christmas cards that you can purchase, and then you, with watercolor, can
Mm,
kinda do it yourself, but she has them it's almost like a pencil etch, so
mhm.
you kinda look at her example, but then you can paint it with your own interpretation
Oh, neat.
and send those as Christmas presents. So I love those, and then I also found a gal, because push pin ornaments are
Mm.
really becoming popular again.
And yeah.
Vintage ones. I follow, Lillian Hudson Designs on Instagram. Her name is Karen, and she goes to all the estate sales, and then she, sells the things that she gets at a bargain and then sells them, and that's her business, and she's got a lot of push pin ornaments right now that she's been
Mm,
finding. So I found a get when I Googled because I remember that growing up.
mhm.
My mother would invite all her girlfriends over, and they'd sit at the dining table, and there were bins and bins filled with the styrofoam balls
Mhm.
and thousands of sequins and pins.
And
And they
pins.
would just I would pay $1,000,000 if I could go back in time and sit down with them and make those ornaments.
Mm.
And so I Googled how to make pushpin ornaments, and I found a gal on Instagram. I think it's called Dragonfly Designs, and she sells the kits. So I ordered a couple of kits, and I'm gonna use her kit as kinda like what's the word? My prototype.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And then I'm gonna see what I need
Mhm.
and maybe, buy the supplies and make some more.
Okay.
But I would encourage everybody, if you wanna learn how to make push pins, we're gonna put the link for her in the show
Mhm.
notes. It's Dragonfly Designs, and you can find her on YouTube. But
That's
here's my sister's recipe for homemade Play-Doh, and I think what I may do when the kids come for Thanksgiving is have them cut out their ornaments,
uh-huh.
let them dry, and have them come back in a couple of weeks, and then
To
we'll paint them.
Mhm.
That you so it's so everybody, you can listen to this, take a note.
Mhm.
It's 1
Okay.
cup flour, half a cup of salt. So this is not dough that your kids are gonna wanna eat.
Right.
This is
Salt dough.
yeah, this is salt dough. 2 teaspoons of cream of tartar, a cup of water, and a tablespoon of vegetable oil, and if you wanna color them, you could do food coloring. But I think it might be better to not do food coloring because then you can just do acrylic paint,
Paint.
and they can
Mhm.
paint it whatever they want to. So you combine the dry ingredients, you add the remaining ingredients, and you mix well, and you cook on medium heat and while stirring until it forms a ball. Dump it out on wax paper, knead it well, and store in an airtight tight container. And my sister used to make my nieces that salt dough all the time, and they would make all kinds of things with it. They'd make
Hmm,
Barbie food, like little pies
cute.
with the berries. The other thing you can do too is you can put magnets on the back of them,
Mhm.
and they could be ornaments. So that
Smart.
and here I'm gonna say another thing about my sister. She just was amazing. She is amazing. When I was little, she was 15 when I was born. So by the time I was Amelia's age, my sister was already married.
Mhm.
She'd had her first daughter when I was 11. But every year for Christmas, she would sit me down before Christmas, like right after Thanksgiving, and say, "Let's talk about what you're gonna make this year to give us gifts." Because she knew I was
Yeah.
10, had no money,
Yeah.
and we would make things together. And one year she took hairspray lids. Back in the day, it was Aquanet and it had the white lid.
Mhm.
So she would collect those. I don't know, maybe ask her girlfriends, "When you get finished with your can of spray, can you let me have?" And I didn't make a whole lot, but maybe like 10 gifts.
Mhm.
And we filled it with plaster. I always helped, but she would
Yeah.
gather the supplies. So we filled it with plaster Paris.
Mhm.
We stuck a plastic fork inside of it and put little flowers, and that was a recipe card holder.
Cute.
And then one year she was a big sewer, and we made these little pouches of calico fabric, and we'd fill them with spices, tie 'em to a rope, and that was your spice rope,
Cute.
with little tags that would say what the spice was, and my job was to write, cinnamon on there.
Mhm.
What else did we make? Those are the 2 things that stick out to me most, but
That's
it
such
was
a
just
thing.
I know, and it's such a great memory.
Mhm.
Our pillar is sentimental
Mhm.
living.
Yeah.
So if there's somebody out there and you have kids and you're trying to think of how you can engage your children in making something and creating and tapping into that mental goodness of creating,
Mhm.
it doesn't matter if it's pretty or not. It's the fact that your kids made it and then you tie it up in a cellophane bag with a bow and then like you set the goal of Saturday, December the 18th, we're going to get in the car and we're going to drive around and deliver all these homemade gifts
Mhm.
and wish people good cheer. So anyway,
So fun.
those are my memories of homemade gifts and things you can do with your kids. And so, Brittany, is there anything you want to follow up with on that?
Well, now you've given me some good ideas for my little ones in my family, and I love to have ant camp a couple of times a
Mm.
year, so maybe that's something we'll have to do for ant
Girl.
camp is make, Christmas presents. Um, but yeah, I think that even though I'm not much of a crafter, I think that I need to be more intentional about working with my hands, like we said, it's sort of grounding and a form of therapy, and I do a lot of things. I decorate, I putter, and all the things that we talk about, but I rarely really just make something with my hands, sit down and make something start to finish. So I think that I need to sort of build that into my rhythms
Build
to
that into your schedule.
yeah. Mhm.
I can't come to your open house this afternoon. I have other commitments, and that commitment is crafts.
Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe.
Phoebe has started with me Sunday craft day.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And so today, after I finish our recording, I'm gonna go over and help her decorate her tree at her apartment.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
fun.
so she said, "Mama, would you like to come and help me decorate my tree?"
Mm, that's precious.
Isn't that
So
sweet?
I think the takeaway is to spend some time creating, and that may look different for y'all. Like creation is therapy, in a way. Find something creative to do. You may be musical, so sit down and tinker with writing a piece of music. You might be a calligrapher, so it's addressing your Christmas cards. You might be a painter. Find something that you enjoy doing creative with your hands and take time to do it. Get off the screens for a little while. And also, I think another takeaway is instill that into future generations if you can. So,
Yeah, and another creativity could be trying out a new recipe.
exactly. Yeah.
Maybe like a really big stretch for you.
Mm,
Like I've never made anything with puff pastry. So today I'm gonna do something with puff pastry. So, I mean, it could be anything.
yep.
Uh, so
Okay.
there you
That's
go. Okay.
awesome.
Yeah,
All right, now it's time for another fun segment where we surprise ourselves with what we're going to talk and share. But it's Bless It, we had to share it, where
love
we
it.
share things we're loving right now. And it might be a product, an event, an activity. It could be anything. It could be Benson Boone. It
Oh,
could be, we love Benson Boone. We haven't talked about him in a while.
we haven't, and we missed his concert. I'm super
No,
disappointed because he's gotten so popular now that we'll probably not be able to ever afford
ever
going to
afford it.
see him.
Okay, so would you like to go first and share your Bless It because you have some fun things
I
to share?
do. My blessed, I had to share it, was my awesome visit to visit my sister in Santa Fe.
Mm.
I cannot remember a time where I had the most fun with her.
Aw.
My sister, as I have said multiple times, was 15 when I was born. So our relationship has always been a little bit more like mother daughter.
Mhm.
When I was little, everyone thought that she was my mother, a young mother. And my
Mhm.
mom thought it was precious and went along with it and never got upset when they thought she was the grandmother. She just would be like, "Oh, thank you. I know my girls are so cute."
That's so
I'm
cute.
really grateful to my mom that she wasn't offended by ageism.
Mhm.
And I think the reason that this trip was so sweet, and I don't think she would mind me sharing this, but her husband, my brother-in-law, had a very significant health scare.
Mm.
He woke up, he played golf. He's a big golfer. He woke
Mhm.
up, he played golf all day on a Saturday, and he woke up on a Sunday, and his foot, he could barely walk. His foot hurt so bad,
Hmm.
and it was warm to the touch, and he just didn't feel good. So Monday, he went to go see his doctor. His doctor said, "I think you have gout." Well, it just kept getting worse, and by
Mhm.
Tuesday, he was so miserable, and he had, like, a 100 and something fever,
Oh,
and my
wow.
sister said, "I'm taking you to the emergency room because I don't think this is gout." And,
Mhm.
your instincts are
Your
just like,
gut.
"Mm."
Mhm.
Well, he had a staph infection in his foot, and
Wow.
it spread to his bone. I mean, he's lucky he's alive,
Yeah.
and he's home now, and he's doing really well, but I think she just needed some support from her
Mhm.
sister. So I went up there, and I knew that I would not be going to do things, and that was not the purpose of this trip.
Mhm.
It was to stay close to home and get him to his doctor's appointments, and he has a few things he has to have done at home. And with my nursing background, I was able to help her with that. So mainly we just sat around in our PJs or my sweats, and we just talked about our childhoods.
Mhm.
I got that recipe book that you suggested, and I took it
Mhm.
with me, and she wrote down a lot of her recipes in that book.
That's good, yeah.
And if people don't know what we're talking about, Brittany has a book called Heirloom Recipes,
Keep
I think. Heirloom
keepsake
Kitchen, Keepsake
keepsake
Kitchen, something.
chicken diary? Yeah.
You can find it on Amazon. It's
Mhm.
Lillian and Val, I think, or Lil
Mhm.
and Val.
Mhm.
And so one side you can record the recipe, and on the other side, you can record the memories behind why that recipe is important.
Mhm.
And my sister would get up early every morning with her coffee and sit and write. So when I give that to Phoebe, it's gonna have both of our handwriting in there.
That's precious. That's
And I
awesome.
may even take it with me secretly to, when I go to see Julie after Thanksgiving and get Julie to write in it.
Mhm.
So anywho, um, there were a few days we did venture out and go do things together. Have you ever heard of the Harvey Girls?
No.
Well, I got a book and I need to read it so I can learn more about it. And I know I'm taking a whole bunch of time on this, plus that I had to share it, but this trip
No.
was amazing. So the Harvey Girls was this man, Mr. Harvey, started this. It was like almost kind of like a concierge service
Mhm.
back in the 30s in Santa Fe. He bought a hotel and he hired women from around the country that had to apply, and they had to be very like hospitality was their
Okay.
interest. And they came and worked at the hotel and like greeted people, were concierge. Hospitality was their
Mhm.
name of their game. There was a Santa Fe Antiques hosted a Harvey Girl night, and the only 2 twin Harvey girls that are still alive were twin sisters, Beverly and Burnett, I think is her name,
Mhm.
and they came to this event. So I got to meet them,
That's cool.
and they signed my book. And so we did that, and then, we went to a cooking class at one of the cooking schools there, but
Fun.
most of the time, she had never seen Schitt's Creek. So we would sit down at night and binge watch Schitt's Creek.
Such a funny show.
It is hilarious. I love David. He's my favorite.
Ew,
So
David.
it was just a really sweet time. And we talked a lot about how many more years do we gonna have that time
Mhm.
together, you
Mhm.
know? I mean, my sister's almost 80, which is so hard for me to wrap my brain around.
Mhm.
And I've decided now that I'm gonna go see her as often as I can.
Yeah,
It's only a 9-hour drive,
that's not too bad.
or fly. It's a 2-hour flight.
Mhm.
Just look for those flights that are,
Deals.
maybe deals, because I don't know how many more times I'm gonna have with her, and
Yeah.
she's been like my whole now that my mom is gone,
Mhm.
my sister's my lifeline
Mhm.
to my past,
Yep. Precious time.
and I can't imagine
Mhm.
my life without her.
Mhm.
So
What a sweet time.
and the sun sets there,
Ugh, yeah, your pictures were gorgeous.
I mean, it's just like God just made this patchwork quilt,
Mhm.
and she seems so happy there.
Yeah.
Like, she's finally I mean, my parents took us to Santa Fe a lot when we were little,
Hmm.
and she has more memories of Santa Fe than I do because I was a baby when I would go, and she was more like I don't know, I
You
think she said she was 6 the first time they went,
Oh, wow.
and they really couldn't afford to stay in a hotel, so they would camp
Mhm.
or take a camper. So her life is where she's more desert in the in Southwest, I'm more of the ocean because that's what my
Mhm.
mother loved was the ocean. My dad really liked the Southwest and the mountains.
Yeah.
But, I
Hmm.
just felt a peace about her where she is now,
Yeah.
and a softness
Yeah.
and a happiness that I hadn't seen in her in a really long time, so I'm happy for her.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's such a sweet blessed.
I know.
And I'm fixing to just do something totally different.
Okay, alright. Yeah, I'll stop crying now.
No, take all the time you need. So my blessed is garland.
Ooh, okay, I love it.
So I'm in the throes of Christmas decorating and getting my house ready for the Christmas tour of homes, which is December 7th. If you're local ish to Dothan, Alabama, please look the Junior League Christmas Tour of Homes up for the Wiregrass area, Dothan, Alabama, and come. I would love to meet you. I'll be at my house the whole time and receiving people. But I bought this garland last year off of Amazon. It was the viral garland last year. I got 2 6-foot things that I put on my mantle last year, and I loved it so much. I've gotten more. I don't really buy a ton of Christmas decor. Like everything I have is old or used from years or collected from the thrift store. There's never anything. I don't really buy new stuff unless it's ribbon or things like lights or garland or
I love that
tablescaping
garland.
things. I buy tablescaping things. But this garland is like a cedar look and it looks so real.
I thought when you were holding it up, Brittany, that it was real garland.
I wish. I mean,
And
I don't really wish
they still
because
have
it's
it on Amazon?
and there's several the brand that I got is called Waydress, but the same image is with other brands. So I'm sure there's just a lot of different brands similar.
Is it in your LTK?
It probably is. It's definitely on my Amazon storefront,
Okay,
and I
and
can link it.
is that listed to your Instagram? Because 'Cause I'm
Yes,
gonna buy
yes.
that while you're talking.
But okay, so it's heavy-ish, but not too heavy that you can't like tack it up. But that I love that it's so realistic. It looks realistic. It doesn't feel realistic. I mean, it's plasticky, but it flops over. Like it You know how most garlands, especially if they're like a fur looking garland,
Yeah,
you can tell it's fake.
right.
You didn't know that this was fake from a distance, you would think it's real.
I love it. I'm gonna
So
get some,
it's a really good
but
Christmas
it looks
garland.
like it comes 2 6-foot pieces.
Yes, you can get you can get bigger pieces, I think, but I like the 6 foot because then I can fiddle with the arrangement and use it in different places, things like that. So I use 2 6 feet on my mantle because I have a pretty big mantle.
Well, what I
Um,
love about it is that you're not I mean, yes, wouldn't it be nice to have real,
Mm.
but why would you wanna spend because it's 2 6-foot pieces for 66.99, but why would you wanna pay 66.99 for stuff that's gonna die,
yes,
and you're gonna have to
and
clean it up?
yes, and real garland is very expensive.
It is. It's
So this
you
is
almost kinda wanna make friends with your tree farmer and, like, just say, "Hey, can it to in exchange for you not charging me, can I just come pick up all the waste and clean up after you've sold your
yes,
cut your stuff off?"
yeah,
Well, I'm gonna go measure because um, I think that well, the house that we live in, the lady that lived here, she used to hang her garland
mhm,
because we have a two-story entry,
yeah,
and she would hang it on the banister, and the
uh-huh.
little cup hooks are still there of
Oh,
how she
that's
did it.
uh-huh,
And I did it the first few seasons we lived here, and then I just got tired of doing it and putting it up because
mhm,
I'm the only one that puts it up and the only one that takes it down. You know what
mhm.
that's like. Everybody wants to help put it up, but then they disappear when it's time to take it down. That I just stopped doing it, but I think I might do that this year.
And this is really easy. Like you don't even have to fiddle with it to shape it like you do the other garlands. Like it just I don't know. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it, but you'll also see it on my Instagram if you're not. So,
I
it's
love
really
it.
good.
Okay, good
Alright.
job.
That's my blessing.
Okay.
It's time to close the show
It
already.
is time to close the show. My gosh.
Yeah.
So it's my turn to a toast to sentiment. When
Yes.
we decided to do a podcast, Brittany said, I really think that every show we should close it out with a toast.
Mhm.
And this is where we share a sentimental story or a quote or a poem and end with a toast. So this year, one of the things that I was doing when I was in Santa Fe is my sister said, would you mind? Or actually, I don't even know if she asked me. I think I just did it. I rearranged the shelves, her bookshelves in the guest bedroom where I was sleeping
Mhm.
because I think when she moved in the house, she just put everything on the shelves.
Mhm.
I'd lay there at bed at night and I know we'd probably do this when we go to people's homes. We sit there and we think, "Ooh, if that were mine, I
Mhm.
would do it this way."
Do
So I
you
rearranged
redecorate
all her
everywhere
shelves.
every space you go to? I redecorate every
I do
space I go to.
too. I sit on people's couches and I look over and go, I think I would move that over there. Yeah. So anyway, so one of the little books that I came across was called
Mhm.
House Blessings,
Cute.
and it's prayers, poems, and toasts celebrating home and family.
Oh my gosh.
And it's
Very
by
similar to Toast to Sentiment.
yes, it's by a lady named June Cottner. And apparently this book has been around for a while, and I don't know why.
Huh.
She's got animal blessings, baby blessings, bedside prayers, bless the beast, bless the day, Christmas blessings, family celebrations, graces, and then she's got some other mother-daughter wedding blessings, home design handbook, looking for God in all the right places.
Okay,
So,
that sounds right up my alley. June
yeah,
does.
but
Yeah.
don't get it.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
And this was written in 2004. So this little book has been around for a while.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
But again, I'd encourage you not to get it.
I don't
Right
think I
now.
need it. Okay. Gotcha.
So I'm going to read House Blessing, and I don't have my glasses on, but I'm going to do my best.
Okay.
This is on pages 8 and 9. It was written by. So apparently she just takes other people's things and gives attribute to them.
Compiles
I
it.
think some of it
Okay.
is hers, and then some of it is a mix of other people that she has found that have written blessings. And this is
Mhm.
Ingrid Goff Madoff, Maidoff. Your house is love's house. It is a sanctuary, a garden, a safe haven. May it be delightful. May it be a home that encourages creativity and peace, togetherness and private time. May it be an environment that celebrates life, untidy and ever flowing. May
Mm,
simplicity be honored in your home, valuing love above all else.
mm,
May daily chores and small moments all be approached with reverence and with love. Mistakes may be seen as lessons learned. Kindness, forgiveness, laughter, joy, and calm enthusiasm will nourish all who enter through its doors.
mm.
May all who visit leave refreshed. May all who live in your house live in contentment and harmony, dreaming a beautiful dream, rejoicing in the way things are.
Oh, that's sweet.
Isn't that beautiful?
It is. It's like a liturgy, if you will, for
It
home.
is. And I really think that speaks to what you and I try to accomplish in
Mhm.
this podcast
Mhm.
is that your home is your respite. It is your sanctuary,
Yep.
and it can look and be any way that makes you happy,
Mhm.
whether it's brand new things that bring you joy, or it's just filled to the brim with your things that were passed down or other people's things that
Mhm.
meant something to them.
Yeah.
So that's my toast for this week.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cute mug.
Cheers, cheers. So that's the end of today's episode, right?
Do it.
Please follow us on, you can find our podcast on Apple and Spotify, pretty much anywhere you find podcasts.
Mhm.
Be sure to save it, like it, share it, put a review, encourage your friends to listen. You can find me at Home with a Twist on Instagram and homewithatwist.com. And Brittany, do you want to share where people can find you?
At Brittany Shepherd, thesentimentaldecorator.com.
Okay, and also if you wanna send us a, message about today, Or, we get ideas from our listeners all the time. We'd love
We
to
do.
hear from you. Send us an email at the sentimentaltwistpodcast@gmail.com. So thanks for joining us today on the Sentimental Twist.
Where we believe every space tells a story.
And every story deserves a place at the table. Until next time.
Keep things cozy, collected, and a little bit sentimental.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, y'all. See you next week.